run again, and this was really, really, really important for him to get through the House. So, while it's exciting for all of us, it's even more exciting for Bill, the victory that we had in the House. I think it's important to know how close the vote was on this bill, 143 to 135. We were on pins and needles sitting there during the vote, and Bill wanted to make it really clear that all parties voted for this bill. All NDP, I think all Bloc, some Liberals, and actually a handful of Conservatives, to their credit, stood up and independently voted for the bill. It's really important that this bill, if passed through the Senate, becomes law, does two things. One, will add trans rights to the Human Rights Code. Secondly, include it as a hate crime under the Criminal Code. Now, why are both of those important? Because there's a lot of discrimination that trans Canadians are already experiencing in Canada, and it's important that they have the opportunity to go before the Human Rights Tribunal and raise a complaint if they're being discriminated in their places of employment, in the place where they live, in the place where they work, and so forth. If this amendment doesn't go through, it's harder to make the case specifically. So that's what this amendment does. It simply gives the same rights to trans Canadians that a lot of other groups of people have, and so they should have that right. The other one, adding to the criminal code, making the criminal offense specifically to harass and pass out hate literature, to speak in a hateful way about trans people, would be made a criminal offense. And that's very important, because we live in a society where all Canadians are supposed to be protected from violence and abuse. And this would make a very specific provision, making it easier for the police to investigate and lay a charge. So kudos not just to Bill 6A, one of my heroes, kudos to all the Canadians who wrote to the members of Parliament and championed this cause for so long. This is not a minor victory. This is a phenomenal victory. We were hoping that this bill would come forward for a vote before the election, which could happen any day. We really don't know. We're on pins and needles on that as well. So it's fabulous. But as you're 100% right, the next battle is to get it through the Senate. The Senate is now controlled by the Conservatives. They have the majority after Stephen Harper did 36 appointments that he said he'd never do. The majority of whom are Conservative bagmen and women. So it's going to be a big struggle for those of you who are running this campaign. But I think you're the kind of Canadians that are not going to be easily daunted. And what I would encourage you to do is be in touch with Bill 6A, because Bill 6A will know who in the Senate are most likely to champion this bill. We need somebody in the Senate who will step forward. The way the Senate process works is they read out all the bills every day, and somebody has to stand up and say, I'll take that bill, and I will defend it, and I want it to go to committee, and I want witnesses to come in, and then I want it to come to a vote. So I think it's very important to be in touch with Bill 6A, and he'll have a good idea of which senator is most likely to do that. It doesn't have to be an Alberta senator, just because you're from Alberta. It doesn't have to be a BC senator because Bill's from BC. It can be a senator anywhere in Canada. So do write to Alberta senators, but write to all of them, because they're all accountable to you. They don't have a constituency. Their constituency is you. It's all Canadians. One thing that I wanted to add is a couple of the letters that were written to me persuading me to vote for this bill. Now, I didn't really need to be persuaded, but I'll tell you, if I wasn't already supportive of this, I couldn't imagine that anybody would vote against this bill who received these kinds of letters. One Canadian wrote to me, many trans people live in poverty and have difficulty paying for the daily cost of living and health care. This is largely due to the discrimination and violence that they're subjugated to, including difficulty in finding employment, residence, support, networks, and services. It's a testament to the strength of many trans people who have overcome all odds to stand up for their rights. Another wrote, trans people are workers, citizens, and beloved members of our family. They deserve respect, equality, and protection for discrimination and violence. One transgender person who struggled for a long time with fear of what would happen if he told people, including his family, about who he felt he was, he wrote to me just this unbelievable letter. In my case, I believe the term two-spirited best describes what I am, both male and female. For years, I believed this was a curse, but I've come to realize it's a blessing. It has allowed me to truly achieve all I have in life and to gain a unique perspective in the world. In closing, I hope that now you can help advocate for me and others by supporting this very important bill. Now, I'll tell you the one that really touched me, and it's really encouraging for Edmontonians. I also received a letter from the congregations of all the United Churches of Edmonton Strathcona. And they advised me that in 2009, the General Council Executive of the United Church of Canada approved a motion committing to the full participation and ministries of gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, two-spirit, and queer people within its court. It acknowledged that transgender people are currently offering valuable ministry within the church, both as lay people and as clergy, and calls for the transformation of gender roles that are oppressive for men and women and otherwise not fully reflective of Christian values. So all of these voices across the country made me proud of Bill 6A and made me proud of you here in Edmonton who have championed this cause and got this bill through. So, as they say, there's only one more hurdle before this becomes law, and that's getting it through the Senate. And I've got absolute confidence in you that we've come this far and that you're going to do it. And let's do this for Bill, and let's do this for all of our transgender neighbors and family members.